Let's talk about the game.
Elbow, forearm, he's going to be down.
The result of the play is a touchdown.
And then the flag that was thrown on this was picked up.
I don't know, did it get the face mask?
So by rule, the game is over.
The Lions Hangover.
All right, first off, thanks for watching and listening on the YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. That's always where you can find me. Also, I am on the social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Find me there. Twitter, I always like to post like a weekly poll, something fun, just to get a vibe of what the fans are thinking about the Lions and stuff. But yeah, other than that, that's the business taken care of. Look at how wrinkly this shirt is. It's amazing. I should have steam dried it. Anyway, I found it. I couldn't find the blue shirt for a while, but I found it now. So if you guys are watching, welcome to the blue shirt era. I know I've worn it at least once. So the Lions win. Win streak alert, 31-30 over the Chicago Bears. They are now in sole possession of third place, thanks to the Packers winning yesterday in Dallas. Each team started off with a pair of field goals. Badgley, who kicked a 25-yarder, continues to look solid for the Lions, but we do still need to find out if he can kick the long ball and if he can kick under pressure. That's going to be important for a kicker. But as of right now, I like the dude. I'm happy he's here because the Lions did struggle with finding a kicker for a little bit, so he seems to be a good fit for us right now. Brock Wright gets the only touchdown for the Lions in the first half. I believe this was the first touchdown of the game, so that puts the Lions at a 10-3 win. And then, of course, Justin Fields rushes it in from just outside of the end zone to tie it up 10-10. The Lions do get aggressive before the half, which I like. I've heard people complain about Dan Campbell. What is he thinking? But there was like 5 seconds left in the half. They go for the Hail Mary. Now, unfortunately, Jared Goff can't throw the ball more than 15 yards, so it ends up being an incomplete pass. But he gave it his all. I believe the ball was about 30 yards in the air, but it was still about 10, 15 yards short of the end zone. But I like the call because the Lions get the ball after the half, so why not try and score? I've said it before, the odds of a turnover and a score with that much time left or that little time left at the end of the half, the chances are so low that it's not going to work out for us, work out in a negative way. So you've got nothing to lose, in my opinion. Why not take a shot down the field, which they did, and I love it. So if for some reason Dan Campbell saw me say that a few weeks ago and he's like, this dude is right, thanks, Dan. Thanks, coach. That's all I want. Just take a shot downfield. You lost nothing from it. Even if it was an interception, he wouldn't have scored a pick six. It would have been like a 70-yard pick six. And if it did happen, hey, you still get the ball after the half. But it was so highly unlikely that it was going to happen. So I like that they're aggressive before the half. So as much as I love receiving in the second half, which that is my favorite thing in the world, I hate when we receive to start the game. Receive in the second half. That's where it's at. This has been one of the Lions' biggest silent, I say this with quotes, silent troubles. They seem to struggle with that first drive coming out of the second half. And yesterday was no different against the Bears. That drive ended with a punt, a Jack Fox punt, and that leads to a Bears touchdown. Fields to Kmet, K-M-E-T, Kmet. Anyway, they get a touchdown on that. They take the lead 17-10. Lions next drive, another punt. This leads to another Fields to Kmet hookup. This one was for 50 yards. Bears are currently winning 24-10. Things seem over at this point because as you go into the fourth quarter, the Lions have not overcome a 14-point deficit in the fourth quarter since 1993. If I had to check, I believe that would be the Vikings. I think I know where I was at that day. It's a long, boring story, but I was doing some housework with my dad, I think, somewhere. And we couldn't watch the game. I don't even think it was sold out at the Silverdome. But anyway, Lions ended up winning. But the fourth quarter, this is when the defense steps it up. Hutchin has one of the best tackles that I've ever seen. It looked like something from WWE. Man, he just grabbed that dude's neck like that. It was like a reverse suplex sort of a thing. He also had a sack, and he led the team with 8 solo tackles. Awesome day for Aiden Hutchinson. Awesome day. He played great. The Lions still struggled with containing Justin Fields all day, but ultimately, I mean, they won, so they contained him enough. But Justin Fields was allowed to pretty much do whatever he wants. We'll talk about him in a second. Jeff Okudah, of course, had his career pick 6 off of Justin Fields. And sadly, happily, but also sadly, the defensive backfield has really started playing better since the departure of Aubrey Pleasant, the defensive backs coach. I think Aaron Glenn has stepped up, the defensive coordinator. He stepped up and has taken over responsibilities of the defensive backs. And I don't know if it was the firing, it kind of lit a fire under their ass or what, but the defensive backfield, especially last week with Kirby Joseph and now this week with Okudah. Okudah's been having a solid year the whole time, but you can just tell they're playing with a different energy. The scheme is different. They seem more alert. We're starting to get interceptions. The ball is getting turned over, and this one pays off for pick 6. So that is amazing. And kudos to Aaron Glenn as well, because I know the defense struggled the first half of the season that we've played so far, and he was getting called out, I know, by myself and, other media people. Not that I'm really a media person, but he was getting called out, and he definitely upped his game. The defense, still not dominant, definitely playing better. You can see the pieces come together with Hutchinson playing better. Rodriguez, who was injured yesterday, he's a solid fit. Kirby Joseph, Okudah, you can see the building blocks. Things are getting better. Guys like Anzalone is playing solid, probably not a Pro Bowler, but he's a solid piece of the defense. You got to give him credit. Same with Kaminsky. He's a dude that's hustling around the field, not necessarily making an impact statistically, but you love to see the hustle. So these guys are playing hard. Josh Pascal is back. He's absorbing some of the attention and stuff, which is probably allowing Hutchinson to get a little bit more free. I would love to see Pascal start to show up on the stat sheet a little bit more. But Justin Fields, let's see. Going back to the game, though, off of that tangent, sorry. Justin Fields did have another touchdown. This time it was a 67-yard run. But again, the defense came up big when they had to. The key point on that is Julian Okwara, who also came alive yesterday, especially in the second half. He had 2 sacks, and he had the key sack, almost a game-winning sack, because it kind of put the nail in the coffin. I would say it put the nail in the coffin, but he didn't drive it home. That was a key moment. But we'll talk about this, because Jamal Williams ran 16 times for 59 yards, but he got that key first down at the end. So with that was kind of like the nail in the coffin. So Aquara on defense, he sort of placed it in there and he tapped it in, and then Jamal Williams with that first down just smacked the hammer home and put the nail all the way in the coffin. So the game was over at that point. But you also have to give kudos to the Chicago Bears kicker, Carlos Santos. He missed an extra point. And that really was the difference maker. Nobody's really talked about that yet. But if that didn't happen, we only won them by 1 point. So if Santos didn't miss that extra point, we would be going to overtime. Who knows what would happen then? It would definitely be a different story. But that was a key moment for the Lions. I think the game changer was the interception, the pick 6 by Okudah. But without that missed extra point, the Lions would be going to overtime, and you just never know. I said earlier, Jamal Williams ran the ball for 16 times. There was no super highlights on offense except Amon-Ra St. Brown, who had 10 catches for 119 yards. Jared Goff did not play great, I don't feel like, but statistically he had a solid day. He didn't do anything to lose the game. He played, I would say, a solid, mediocre game. He finished with 19 for 26 for 236 yards and the touchdown to Brock Wright. He did have a little scramble. I can't remember if he got the first down or if he was just shy. But he did have a scramble, and it was like, finally, just run the ball a little bit. I wish he scrambled a little bit more. I'm not saying I want a mobile quarterback. I really like a quarterback who just stays in the pocket and throws the ball. But there's been so many times when the pocket opens up, and you can see that Goff has 5, 10, 15 yards down the field, and it's like, just make a run for it, man. Get us the first down. Make a play. Get aggressive, like play smart. You don't have to force a throw. You don't have to throw the ball out of bounds. Like, don't be afraid to get hit a little bit. Like, are you that worried? You're wearing a helmet. You're wearing pads. Just slide before you get hit. Like, work it out. And you don't even have to be super fast. It's all about knowing when to run. And for the most part this season, he doesn't know when to scramble out of the pocket and make something happen with his legs. But he did a little bit yesterday against the Bears, and I do appreciate that because it does make it harder for defenses. Like, if they know you're just not going to run, like, who cares about you? So he did scramble a little bit yesterday. So I do like that, and I hope he continues on that path. I already said Amon-Ra St. Brown. He finished the game with 10 catches, 119 yards. On the other side of the field, though, Justin Fields, the Lions could not contain him. He did play solid as a running back, not so great as a quarterback, but it's still a dual threat. And this is something that the Lions need to get it together with. They got to figure something out, whether it's their spy scheme or what, but they got to work something out, because Justin Fields ran the ball 13 times for 147 yards, and he had 2 touchdowns on the ground. Throwing the ball was a little bit more inconsistent. He only threw the ball 20 times. He was 12 of 20, only had 167 yards throwing, but he had 2 touchdowns. Of course, the pick 6 to Okudah, though. Again, something the Lions need to work on, but overall, I mean, they got the win. This is 2 wins in a row. They've got a little win streak going, so it's like you can't beat them up. Like, things are happening for us, so just keep at it. I'm going to do something different. I know a lot of people do, like, game balls or game MVPs or stars of the game or something like that. Since I am the Lions hangover, I will give out game aspirin. So from this point forward, my game MVPs will be receiving game aspirins. And I have to give a game aspirin to St. Brown. He was catching everything. He was all over the field. The man is, I feel, completely underrated. I think he's a top 7 wide receiver in the NFL right now. And he's got Jared Goff throwing the ball to him. So I'd like to see what kind of attention he gets when Jameson Williams starts to play sometime in December, it sounds like now. But, yeah, St. Brown, you're the man. Keep it up. Love everything you're doing. Also, Hutchinson, 8 tackles. He is making a difference on defense. 1 sack. Man, that 1 tackle. I was in the bathroom, and I was watching the game on my phone because I didn't want to miss anything on the TV. Embarrassed to say I was in the bathroom, but anyway, it happens. So I'm watching the game on the phone, and I had an uncontrollable, out loud, "Oh, wow," as soon as I saw the tackle. It was crazy. Signature cough. So he gets a game aspirin, and Jeff Okudah, solid year all year. I think he's only had like 1 bad game, maybe 2. But he had a great game yesterday, and he definitely gets a game aspirin. Kudos to him for his first career pick 6. I believe it's his first. This is the first time he's ever played this many games in a season. So, awesome. Keep it up, Okudah. Really love seeing what you're doing. And, of course, all the other guys, Kirby Joseph. It's like next year you get Tracy Walker back after his injury, and it's like, where's our defensive backfield then? Because now you got 3 solid guys in the backfield and guys that you can really count on. Tracy Walker, Okudah, Kirby Joseph. Just keep playing like you're playing. Everything's going to be okay. Lions fans needs to have a little bit of patience, but that's where the depth comes in. So these are things that need to be addressed during the draft. You always got to get those depth pieces in the draft, I feel like. All right, so next week we play the 7-2 Giants. We're going to their house, which is not my favorite thing to do, especially since road wins are so difficult for the Lions and Dan Campbell. Of course, yesterday, kudos to Dan Campbell, first road game victory. So, but yeah, we go on the road again. We play the Giants. They're 7-2. I don't like the Giants. I don't hate them. They're just not my favorite. I do feel like they are experiencing some false success. That doesn't mean that they're not building the right direction. But 7-2 in their division, they've got the Eagles, they've got the Cowboys. Are they really better than those teams? So, and poor Commanders. Who cares about the Commanders, right? I wish we could play the Commanders every week. We'd be undefeated. Anyway, the defense, though, the Giants' defense, this is where their bread and butter is. They're kind of stingy. They're only giving up 19.22 points per game. On the flip side of that, the Lions are giving up 29.33 points per game. So, not expecting a shootout. The Lions' offense has struggled. The Lions are averaging 24.33 points per game, but I know a lot of that's because of the first 4 weeks when they had the number one offense. Now their offense has trailed off a little bit. But the Giants, on the other hand, are only scoring just under 21 points a game, 20.78 to be exact. We do get to see our old friend Galladay, and we get to see Kayvon Thibodeau. So I think we would be happy with Hutchinson getting a sack and Kayvon Thibodeau not getting a sack. I think that would make some of the Hutchinson lovers and haters speak up and, silence them. The people that wanted Thibodeau, if he gets a sack, we're in trouble. Everybody's, we should have drafted him instead. But I think we made the right choice. I'm just saying it. Yeah. It's going to be a tough game. Lions can win. Not so optimistic. If they do win, it's going to be a stupid, ugly game, something like 17-14. I know they've got some confidence building if the defense continues to play well. Daniel Jones, he's a little bit of a scrambler, but he shouldn't give us problems like Jalen Hurts did or Justin Fields did yesterday. But his running ability is a little bit of a threat, so hopefully we can contain him. Saquon Barkley is definitely the key player on the Giants' offense, so we're going to have to shut down the run, not just from Daniel Jones, but definitely from Barkley. The passing game, I think, will be okay. We should be able to defend against Galladay and their other receivers. Daniel Jones is not a prolific thrower. He's probably right in the middle, maybe the top half of the middle pack of quarterbacks throwing the ball. But yeah, it's going to be, I'm expecting it to be a low-scoring, ugly game, somewhere 17-14. I feel like that sounds right. That's if the Lions' defense can play solid. If the Lions' defense, it can get ugly. If the Giants win, it's going to be like 30-14. If the Lions win, it's going to be like 17-14. So it's really going to depend on their defense. I'm not expecting a lot of scoring from the offense. So 14, 17 points tops. If they score more than the 17, I will be surprised. So, but other than that, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I need to get some Spotify listeners. Can you guys tell your friends about me on Spotify, please? Pretty please. Spotify is where it's at. I love everything on YouTube, but I need to grow the Spotify audience. So let's work on that. I need your guys' help. Please, I'm begging you. Please, Spotify. Maybe repetition is the key. Spotify. All right. But yeah, thanks for watching, listening, subscribing, sharing, commenting, liking, reviewing. 5 stars. Those are subliminal messages. Peace out. You guys have a good one.